All right, welcome back, boys and girls. We got a special treat for you today. I have my friend, Just My Stupid Opinion, who is going to be joining me. So please give him a warm welcome. And we're going to be doing some shit talking today. We have a certain person who backed out of a debate. Actually, you know what? I need to get rid of my camera. So hold on, I forgot about that. So that way we can see both of us. So this person, I challenged him to debate on Nicaragua because he was giving me shit because I was trolling Jamarl. And I don't think Jamarl really took it hard. But this guy, for some reason, Mr. We're not going to mention his name. I decided to call him Slobba the Hutt. And, he really thinks that he has some sort of secret Shaolin monk sort of Marxism that nobody else knows. You know, the type that the Wu-Tang Clan would probably inspire, and that nobody else can understand. He's like, I guess, the Martin Shkreli of Marxism. So we found a video of his, and it might be one of the. I've entertained some pretty crazy theories in my time, but what did you think? Just my stupid opinion, just from the first glance at it.
Well, first off, if we're just going to be as vicious as possible, he looked like a beached whale. So that was number one. Number two, before I even go any farther, I want to comment. As soon as I go live, I saw the title of this, Slobba the Hutt. That was awesome. But he was just coming out with some of the most ridiculous things. Like, immediately he's going in talking about how it's like has to do with something to do with Saudi Arabia. And then he's going into all these like channels, which are clearly there as just people who don't put out content, and he's trying to present them as if they're some form of trolls or as if they've been organized by like Saudi Arabia or something. This guy was a gold mine. I'm not gonna lie. He's definitely worth making fun of.
Well, I think you kind of killed the suspense, but yeah, you'll hear it. I was hoping we could get into. I mean, Saudi Arabia isn't even the most ridiculous one that he mentions.
No, not at all.
So here we go. Now, we're not doing this because honestly, we're not that big YouTubers anyway. So, it's not because we're like pounding. He's just somebody who won't shut the fuck up. And we're here to tell them, you're free to come on whenever you want. We'll give you, it's basically, imagine that our channel is like an all-you-can-eat shrimp buffet, but of hate for you. So you're free to come on anytime you want, and we'll basically entertain you. And, let's just hear what he has to say. You ready?
All right, ready.
So I guess we're at 10 seconds. His title is YouTube a Nazi Paradise? So it's basically like that Coolio song, been spending most our lives living in a Nazi paradise. How Hitler day and night living in a Nazi. I mean, what kind of fucking idiot titles his video like this? But you'll see how ridiculous it gets.
All right, before we even begin, I was just going to say that I find that a little funny how YouTube has really started off as more of a place for the left wing, the liberals and progressives to meet. But since then, it's been taken over by more of the right wing who have become more popular on them. So the fact that he's trying to claim that is a little ridiculous. And besides, everyone who's in charge of YouTube does everything they can to censor the conservative content and push the left wing content. Like, you'll find Young Turks advertising for Young Turks on right wing channels. So it's a little ridiculous to go into that off the beginning, but all right, let's get into her.
Yeah, I don't know why my camera isn't working, so maybe I'll play it and then I'll call you back. Or you want me to call you back now?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So hold on. Oh, fuck. Sorry about that. I wanted to have us both on camera. There, you can see my big mean face.
I am your father.
Oh, nah, the wrong episode. We need Lando Calrissian here. Let's see here. Okay, we're ready. This guy actually does have some good production. All right, press play. 10 seconds.
This is going to be, I guess, a little bit of a sort of a conspiracy theory of sorts. Like, I don't know how else to say it, but I'll make an admission here at the beginning, and I'm not particularly proud of this, but I spend a ridiculous time on YouTube, like I have for probably over a decade. You know, and what I always like about YouTube is the comments, right? Because I guess I'm kind of ADHD or whatever. I usually will like start a video and just while I'm watching the video and listening to it, I'll start scrolling through the comments, and I kind of like to listen to the video and see what people are saying at the same time. And I guess what I liked about YouTube back in, the mid to late 90s or whatever was you felt like you could get kind of a sort of an idea of a public consensus, or at least the YouTube community consensus, by scrolling through comments on different videos of different topics and stuff, right? And I noticed kind of a change in that. It was even before like the 2016 elections, probably in Barack Obama's presidency, like the second term. I started to see a lot of, I mean, there's always been trolls. I could call myself a troll or a recovering troll myself. I will say this.
Pause at 138. In order to recover from being a troll, he should probably hop on that fucking elliptical behind him once in a while instead of, criticizing.
That's what I was thinking when I was watching that originally.
Criticizing other people on YouTube. Yeah, by the way, he I think he deletes the comments. He also, in the midst of our email feud, before that even, I think he deleted his Twitter account. That's why, I was really, I was like, I wasn't even expecting him to come to the debate. Then he kept just trying to insult Halsey for some reason, because he was like, oh, since you picked the debate moderator, there's no way your debate moderator could be like objective. Halsey never even said anything to him that was like in any way opinionated either way. All right.
Wait. So you're telling me that this guy is claiming Nazis and he's hating on two Jews?
Well, I don't think he knows who Halsey is. So, he's some sort of crypto Nazi. I think that's what Gord Vidal called it, or something. I don't know. All right.
He's like an Uncle Ruckus of Jews or something.
I don't know what the hell this guy is. Well, you'll hear it. It gets pretty weird. So, 138, I'm pressing play.
No, I generally always use my real identity. Like, I don't try it. So, to me, that's technically not a troll. Like, a troll would be somebody who uses a fake identity, right?
All right, minute 51 seconds. No, somebody who uses their real identity to troll is an idiot, because people can just find you. So, I mean, you brought this on yourself, moron. Play.
Yeah, absolutely. This guy is freaking stupid if that's what he goes around doing, I mean, like, the whole point of trolls is to get a reaction. Of course, there's going to be some counter reaction to that, so he's not even going to take the proper steps to protect his own identity. That's stupid. Which is also why I find it funny that some of the accounts he pulls up, he's like claiming them because they're not using their own identities. That means that they're some form of Nazi.
Yeah. Don't spoil it though. It's pretty funny when he starts. I mean, yeah. Just don't get ahead.
All right.
Let's not get
don't
ahead
get ahead.
Ourselves. Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. Play 151.
And just leaves comments to infuriate people or whatever. And I mean, that is a thing, like, Tom Green type humor and stuff like that. And that's always been a part of the internet. But I noticed something different happening. And like I say, it probably goes back to at least 2012 or something like that. Was these just extremely racist trolls all the time, And at first, what I noticed about them more than anything else was that a lot of times they didn't quite get the language right, Like, you could kind of tell they weren't Americans, And I always thought that was strange. And, at one time I thought that they were like Russians or, and it might have been. And it might have been like a Ukrainian troll farm or something. Now I'm kind of leaning towards the idea that maybe some of this is out of Saudi Arabia. And also,
so pause 2 minutes and 51 seconds. He's already implicated three countries: Russia, Ukraine, or Saudi Arabia. How do you? And I'm surprised he hasn't brought up Israel or Iran or China or something. Like for some reason he believes Saudi Arabians wouldn't know English. Well, it happens to be a lot of them don't, but why don't they just like shitpost in Arabic? They'd say on a banikak, I'm gonna fuck you, something like that. They just say what they want to say, but in Arabic. Why would they do it in English, in like broken English or something? And believe me, all of these countries, they have sock accounts in English, but why is he picking these ones? It's like bizarre. Is he trying to say that Saudi Arabia, for some reason, is more racist than Russia or China or something? Well, I mean, he just keeps going and going. So play 2 minutes and 51 seconds.
Okay.
Also, like, I mean, yes, there are real racists in the U.S., and we'll get into that a little bit here, too. But so anyway, but I just wanted to frame this, that this isn't something new. Like, I've been watching this phenomenon grow. But now I feel like more than ever, there is just this massive effort of racist, like very blatant Nazi trolling, you know? And I don't think it's just like a natural occurrence. Like, I think it is a funded worldwide effort. And I guess if I'm going to like throw my theory out there, I'll preface it by saying,
Pause that at 3:30.
Like,
so I find it funny because for all we know, we may be doing a video on John Mattis, because he said the exact same thing, which has to do with who's training the trolls, this guy, who's funding the trolls. This is almost the same idea, as if it can't be some random individuals online that are just trying to screw with him or screw with anybody else. I mean, there's some people, this is what all they do. The videos that they put out, and that's if they put out videos, but the accounts that they make it just to screw with other people and have a laugh at their expense. There doesn't mean they have to be funded or organized by any country or anything like that. And you could do a lot better of a psyop. You can do a lot better of a psyop against a country than trolling some random YouTube videos if you really wanted to.
Right, and the other thing is, like, the same person, he doesn't have to be funded by a government. The same person could have 7 different troll accounts. So
yeah,
exactly. What does this have to do with being funded by Saudi Arabia or anything? Not that, I'm sure Saudi Arabia does something like this, but why he would imply that the outbreak of racism would have to do with, I mean, Saudi Arabia, I would think that their priorities are somewhere else than, promoting hatred of Mexicans or something. I mean, what does that have to do with Saudi Arabia?
They're too busy trying to prevent their women from driving. They don't have time for this shit.
Oh, wait, did you hear that they did legalize the women driving?
Yeah, but even so, I question how many women still have the ability to drive.
So you're questioning the wisdom of letting women drive as well. So I'm not the only one, right?
You know it, but
Saudi Arabia, the last domino to fall of the sanity of the sane nations.
Well, the other thing was too is even since then there was a Saudi Arabian model who had her picture taken. It was put on the cover of a magazine. It was her behind the wheel of a car, and apparently it just caused huge blow up inside of Saudi Arabia. So they, despite the fact they say they've allowed their women to drive, I really question if that's even really that true, or whether that's just more for the if that's just more for their look on the international stage,
Yes, driving on a road, that's not haram anymore, but swimming without your husband or brother around, you might want to get your neck sized for a beheading. So, yeah, well, I mean, this guy doesn't mention any rhyme or reason about it. There's no problem with criticizing Russia or Saudi Arabia, in my opinion. You can criticize any country you want, for all I care. But, I mean, it really does not make any sense.
You know what? I think these are actually Canadian trolls that are trying to get back at you guys since the tariff war that's going on. That's really what's going on here, It's CSIS. They're coming after you.
Yeah, or it's those Bermudans who, we stole their shorts. All right. Ready to keep going? I don't think we're going to get through the whole thing. This kind of like degenerates into nonsense, even compared to what we're hearing now. But press play. I'm at 3:34.
3:34. Okay, perfect. I'm just a couple seconds behind you.
All right,
go.
Hold on. I need to unmute.
American racists,
okay, go ahead.
that have just found their calling in life to troll on YouTube. But I think that I think that what it might be is there's various like fairly powerful entities that would have some interest in this happening. And obviously one that we know exists is like the Mercers, right? And through the Trump administration, right?
I'm getting a freeze. Sorry.
Okay.
And for them,
I'm right now
it's
at
like
408.
political gain. And
1 second. Yeah, okay. Play.
you know,
Okay.
I think that Robert and Rebecca Mercer, like, I think they're either like legitimate Nazis or they have like this idea of American nationalism, which shouldn't even be a thing. I don't think nationalism should exist in America. But
So pause at 428. So I don't think this is his words. This is by the way, this is the way he sounds in his emails. I don't think that this should exist. In my opinion, something like this. Also, where does he get that Rebecca Mercer is a Nazi? You know, where's the proof here? Don't you need, you know, in the world that we live in, you know, when you're making an allegation against somebody, when you throw around, I mean, this is the same person who freaks out when I say something about communists, and it's just ridiculous. You can hardly understand where's the rhyme or reason behind this nonsense, and you know, to be honest with you, it doesn't get any more coherent. Anything that, I mean, do you know who the Mercers are, by the way? Just my stupid opinion.
I know a little bit about them. I know that they were sort of a well-funded family that backed Donald Trump in the recent election, right?
Yeah, but by the same token, you know, this is somebody. You know, it's one thing to say a well-funded family or like these wealthy individuals or you know, this wealthy group of people that they're backing a certain person. You know, the same thing we like to say about George Soros. But with George Soros, there's a lot of credible evidence that he was working with Nazis during the Second World War. I think it's still a bit of it's kind of a stretch to call him a Nazi. In this case, he's offering zero evidence. He's just saying, I think that they might be Nazis, and I think that they might be promoting a form of American nationalism, and I don't believe that American nationalism should even exist. It's like, okay, then, I mean, how about you tie it together? How about you show some proof of anything that you're talking about?
Well, when concerning George Soros, too, he actually, you can find an interview of him where he more or less said it made not necessarily that he was a Nazi, but he worked with them where he sold people out from his community to the Nazis for his own benefit, you know? And I couldn't, maybe I'm misremembering it, so take what I'm saying next with a grain of salt, but I even think George Soros said that he may have sold out some of his own family members to the Nazis. So, you know, there's more of a tie there than, yeah, anything that he's trying to claim right now. He's just picking one of the big families that backed Trump, and he's using that as an excuse to push his narrative from where I'm sitting. That's what it looks like anyway.
Right, and when he sees this video, he's going to try to say, oh, we strawmanned him because we're attaching him to George Soros. No. What we're saying is that you have to, when you make an allegation against somebody, you have to offer proof of whatever the fuck you're talking about. He's the one who's doing the straw man here, because there's no proof to tie any of the Mercers to Nazism. At least nothing that he offers. You ready to go?
All right.
428.
All right.
either that is like their fundamental belief, or it's just a bet. It's just a money bet for them. And like that is the scary thing to realize about America. There are some people that have so much fucking money now, and so few of them. Like it's just like a game for them to have influence, and also like if they can predict certain financial outcomes out of it, then they can make a pile of money, you know. But in addition to that, like I think that there are people that just have an interest in anything that's bad for America. And so like I suspect like it could be like Al-Qaeda, you know, and the reason I suspect that the most is like within Saudi Arabia would be like the perfect place to operate this trolling deal.
So pause at 517. For some reason, he thinks that you need to have an Al-Qaeda troll farm in Saudi Arabia. Based on zero evidence, these people don't offer. He doesn't offer any tie to Saudi Arabia. He's saying, "Oh, I suppose it might be Saudi Arabia." I suppose, you know, after first of all, remember he said it's possible. Originally, he said it's possible it could be Russia or Ukraine, right? But then he doesn't offer any evidence to disqualify the fact that they could be it. Not that I believe they could be it. It's just that, like, when you run through your first two theories, you might want to tell us why you discounted them. Is it just because you realize everybody else is ridiculous for thinking it's Russia? So then you go to the third card in the deck and you say, you know, oh, Saudi Arabia. Oh, it's those damn towel heads with their fucking propaganda. Those Muslims.
And he's only partly right, because I think where he actually wants, it's not Saudi Arabia, it's Turkestan is actually where they're operating from.
Right, and he's not even. I mean, he has a South Park character as his icon, but he probably won't even remember the Durka thing from what is it? Team America.
Team America.
So then the next card he should probably draw. I'll do it for him. Is the Jews will do it. And then once he can't prove anything about the Jews, he'll move to the Koch brothers, and then to Roseanne, and he'll just keep pulling cards out because he has absolutely no proof here. All right.
My favorite scapegoat is always the interdimensional child molesters. That's always my favorite scapegoat if you want to present something with no evidence.
Right, or the black holes in the sky that sucked up the Malaysia Flight 170 or whatever it was.
Oh, yes, that's right. Don Lemon.
Don Lemon. He loves black holes. So let's keep going. It's 5 minutes and 17 seconds.
Okay.
Because of the way their internet is protected from the outside. Like, you can't view into it. There's only 2 nodes, right? But they can use different VPNs and different ways to get out from in there, even if it's not with the express permission of the Saudi government, right? And so it just occurs to me that, like, Al-Qaeda has always had, and other jihadist groups that originate from Saudi Arabia have always had this intention of taking down America, right? And they're not dumb people. Like, they're very smart, and they're very tech savvy and highly educated. So Saudi Arabian people, like, a lot of them don't have anything to do. You know what I mean? Like, to me, there's just like a lot of the pieces of the puzzle.
All right, pause. 6 minutes and 12 seconds. A lot of the Saudi Arabian people don't have anything to do. That's a bit of a assumption. I mean, it could be true, but he offers no evidence. And if you have nothing to do, why would you troll this idiot's stupid channel, or anybody else's stupid channel? And why would you put Nazi propaganda on it? All right, play 6 minutes and 12 seconds.
That fit. Do I know this to be a fact? No, I don't. It's just this theory that I've worked up, I guess. It's, call me the left-wing Alex Jones or whatever.
Pause.
But it's just the theory.
He says call him the left-wing Alex Jones, but you know what? At least Alex actually broke some stories, and at least Alex sometimes has some merit behind what he talks about, as crazy as he can be. This has just got nothing behind him. He's just pulling a theory out of his ass, and then he's trying to say, call me the left-wing Alex Jones. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. Because, again, he's more or less just stating that this is a theory he's working on in his head. He hasn't actually brought any evidence to the table to back it up where it might be coming from, where these organized trolls might be coming from. So he's kind of just, in my opinion, he's just shooting himself in the foot by even trying to compare himself in any way to Alex Jones.
Right, and with Alex Jones, you at least have a form of entertainment. You have somebody who at least tries to take care of his external appearance and his health, or pretends to, and tries to sell people supplements. I mean, this guy's basically, he's just an eyesore. I look at him, I kind of lose my faith in the human race. I feel like, we might deserve a communist genocide just so that we can be, absolved of having somebody like him with us. What do you think about that theory? Just my stupid opinion.
Well, I think if there was a communist genocide, it'd actually force them to, run or do some form of
Right.
exercise. I'm starting to think the elliptical is just one of those props in the background. It actually has no use or anything like that, but it's just like, see, I do something.
No,
And
the elliptical is a metaphor. It's a social commentary on the shackles that capitalism imposes on us, because the being fit is a social construct. So he's unshackling himself. You see, so he puts it aside as if I am leaving behind the shackles of capitalist constraints.
I was always taking it as more of the whole you put all this effort in, but you don't go anywhere sort of thing, Since you'll always remain in the same destination. It's like capitalism. This is what you do. You work and you work and you work and you can't get ahead in life.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true. I mean, you never get anywhere on the elliptical. Okay. So you ready to go? 627.
627?
Yeah.
And yes,
Okay, I was a little behind. Yeah. There we
Yeah,
go.
okay.
Okay.
people that would have a motive to do this, and yes, they would have the ability to do it. Because over time they've gotten pretty good. Like now they don't screw up. A lot of times they do sound like Americans. Like they don't make the little cultural screw ups and language screw ups, right? Which you would expect if people hone their skills over time, right? So I do think they could totally be doing this. Just what I'm saying is like the idea of it would be to make it seem like a bigger movement in America than what it is, right? To make it seem like there's just all these people that have decided that they agree with this Nazi idea in America. And what that does is it creates an environment for like young kids, probably, like me when I was 17 or 18 or whatever, a white guy from a 95% white community or something that was just kind of ignorant, to appeal to this, to think, oh, I might be a part of this, right? And to create this illusion of community. And I think that like when you look at like Breitbart and Mike Cernovich and all this stuff, it's just a pipeline to take people to the extreme, racist edge of society. And like I don't think any of it is legitimate. Like I don't think a lot of the people even mean what they say. Like they are just have a financial interest in this or something.
Pause at 8:09.
Oh, perfect. I think we both had some. Go ahead first.
This guy going after Mike Cernovich as if, Mike Cernovich, you don't have to just measure it in terms of YouTube comments. First of all, I don't even think he does YouTube. He's more on Periscope. And then people will record his Periscope and then put it on YouTube. He's the same thing with Scott Adams, by the way. Most of, I think, Mike Cernovich's money comes from that weird book that he sells, The Guerrilla Mindset, that I personally think it might actually be like a bunch of bullshit, but good for him, because obviously we live in normal people in the course of their life, they want to make money, and other people want to hate on people that make money and sit in their seat and basically gobble up Popeye's chicken. But Mike Cernovich, he has an ambition in life, which is to make a lot of money, and he's succeeding at it. Therefore, some of these very envious, not so clever people will concoct nonsense to talk about Cernovich, which, to be honest with you, Cernovich kind of invites, because some of the stuff he talks about isn't exactly the most plausible stuff. But that he who is without sin cast the first stone. What was your comment, Adrian?
Well, it's not so much what he like something about him particularly, but it's something he said that he talked about how these people like Breitbart, Mike Cernovich, blah blah blah, they say things that they don't mean. Well, I didn't end up watching your take on the whole Dave Rubin video that TYT put out, but I ended up watching the TYT video myself because it caught my attention. And one thing that I thought was funny about that is he talks about like these people say things they don't believe. Yet one thing I noticed was that Milo Yiannopoulos, in response to this reporter who sent him the message, and he sends him like, I can't wait until like a bunch of people pick up guns and like kill journalists or something like that. It's just how serious TYT ended up taking that, as if it was actually like, as if he wasn't like, he's clearly trying to be provocative and he wasn't serious that he wanted people to go out and kill people. but then they were using this to justify, like, well, you see, the right is actually the violent one, not the left, blah, 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 blah. So I just think it's a little funny as I'm listening to him from the left talk about it. They say things they don't really mean, but then at the same time, if it benefits us, we're going to push it as if they're saying it as if it actually means something. So I just kind of caught that when I was first watching it. I wanted to bring that up. I thought it was kind of funny.
Well, with Milo Yiannopoulos, in that in every single instance that the Young Turks pretends that they don't want to talk about him, that you can clearly see that he basically he almost puts them into fits of hysteria, because Anna Kasparian, even to mention his name, she gets all worked up and probably gets sweaty armpits over it. She just freaks out over it. And with Dave Rubin, I have to say, the guy has on a very wide variety of people that he has on these atheists. He has on these he has all sorts of like weird fuckers on. So what's the complaint here? He had on John Fugelsang. He had on Brendan O'Neill. Now, it could be that he would have more left-wing people on if they agree to come on. I think a lot of people don't go on his show because they don't want to be on his show. They wouldn't agree to come on. But he had Richard Lewis on, who is like by no means a right-winger at all. And he's had on some right-wing people, but people are they have this rush to judgment over somebody who they're not judging him on substance. Okay, Dave Rubin, I'd say there's a number of interviews that he's had that I think are like genuinely crappy. But, if you look at the overall body of work and the type of success that he's had, which I think I'm a little surprised he doesn't have more subscribers, then I don't know why the Young Turks would bother even talking about him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just correcting something, actually. I just realized I did actually watch your video on it because I left a comment in the section below. It was your stream earlier today I was thinking of, actually, that I didn't end up seeing. So I just wanted to actually correct that.
Yeah, that one was that was I think on the New Republic saying that Bernie Sanders is no longer a leftist. So it's like, I'm just going to step back and let them eat each other.
Might as well, man. Might as well.
All right.
Alrighty. We're at 808?
I'm at 809, but yeah.
Okay,
let's play.
And maybe it's just me trying to like rationalize the idea that this can't exist in the U.S. Like it can't be a legitimate effort. But we saw like at Charlottesville, right? Barely anybody showed up, and then in Boston when they tried it, there was hardly any. These Nazi dipshits came from all over the U.S. and there was only a handful of them, and then So, part of me is like, how can the YouTube comments just be crawling with these Nazis? Where are they coming from, and are they legitimate? And let's take a look a little bit and see what I'm talking about. So, like, this is a video I was just watching a little bit ago, and it's about D.L. Hughley had made this new book kind of in response to, he had done an interview with Megyn Kelly about BLM a little bit or whatever. But you can see here, like this guy's making a funny comment. It's so simple. Don't want to get shot by the police. Don't be black or Hispanic. It's not rocket science. And but I guarantee you, in the replies here, it's going to be here. Don't do drive-bys. So look at this guy. Probably really blank slate. I don't know why this is taking so long to load. I guess it's because I'm streaming or whatever. And this is common. Just a generic name, no subscribers, no content. There's just going to be nothing here. And when you see that, could it be some kid dicking around trying to be funny or something? Yes. But could it also be something where somebody created 1,000 accounts that they can kind of fly through or whatever? Like, okay, so here this guy is.
So pause at 10:18. I wanted to pause it too because my My stream's slowing down for some reason. If somebody could put in the chat if they're hearing us fine, I just want to know. Yeah, they could be a fake account, but you have to propose evidence of it. And also, what I also noticed before was that he proposes that these comments are racist without actually he doesn't show the audience what the content was. So how are you to determine whether it's racist or not? I mean, you don't know what DL Hughley said. It just says the title and and he shows the comments. I mean, usually when I do a video on something like this, I don't show comments without showing what the comments are about.
Well, also I was going to say you're bound to definitely get those sort of comments when you're looking at the when it's sort of like what I learned from white people or those sort of ideas. You're definitely bound to get those sort of comments. I also thought it was funny that he says, like, could it just be like a kid dicking around? Of course, but this could be someone who creates thousands of accounts, or going back to his whole Saudi Arabia point or whatever. And it reminds me, he's going on Discovery Channel on this. He's going, I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. That's kind of where he's going with that.
Yeah, I guess I could have made a thumbnail of that, man. The guy that, yeah, I love that meme.
That's a great meme.
Yeah. Are you ready?
All right. Yeah.
Pants up, don't loot. Okay, so that's just kind of being racist, like insinuating that, black people don't pull their pants up or something.
Pause.
And
yeah.
So what I thought was funny about that is, like, he's like, well, that means like pull their pants up and they loot. When clearly he's making more reference to the whole Michael Brown thing, hands up, don't shoot. And it's like pants up, don't loot. Like that. Like that seemed pretty obvious to me when I was looking at it, but he couldn't seem to put two and two together on that one.
Well, the thing is that it's actually on CNN they actually had a debate once between Mark Lamont Hill and this black activist who was telling black kids to pull their pants up. And Mark Lamont Hill was trying to make the point that it's an intrinsic part of black culture. And Mark Lamont Hill is supposedly one of these black progressives. He voted for the Green Party. He was he still is a huge critic of the Trump administration, and he's a major, whatever you call it, progressive. We have a comment from Metadata Man. He says, Netflix needs a Dear Fat White Liberals series. Oh, he did it. He did it. This man, this person, if he sees us calling him a liberal, he will freak out. Because for him, being a liberal is basically the same as when he calls us a Nazi. Because in his mind, a liberal basically is the same as a Nazi, just not as mean, I guess. You ever encounter those people who they're like far left and they're like, oh, don't call me a liberal? Do you ever see that, Adrian?
I've seen a few. I've also seen that graffiti scrolled that says "liberals get the bullet too" from Antifa, which is ironic in and of itself because like liberals are much more like center left to begin with, but then on top of it, we're talking about the people who want gun control are now threatening gun violence. So
yeah, I mean, with this guy, it wouldn't be liberals get the bullet. It's liberals get in my tortilla, yum yum. So this guy. He's really gonna have. We're really scared of the comment you're about to leave, buddy. Yeah. So I'm ready to go. 10 minutes and 31 seconds. I have.
All right.
Loot, right? So he's just making. And this says Jason is crazy for NF. Now I don't know what would NF be. I don't know. And so I don't know. This guy has 6 subscribers, but obviously on YouTube, like you can't see that. And he's just not displaying anything. And then this guy says, don't do stupid shit.
I think my screen's still freezing.
All right, so now this would be a little bit more of an interesting one. He at least has some subscription.
Hold on, I'm going to reload. I'm at 11:19. I don't know why it's happening to me.
No problem. Although what I thought was too funny was the side-by-side comparison, because just before he switched over to the channel, you could see a picture of Michael Moore next to him. like next in one of the thumbnails of the video. So it was like a side-by-side comparison of our friend here, Danny, and Michael Moore.
Yeah, I was gonna, one of my alternate titles for this would have been, Michael Moore's more unsuccessful brother, gets mad at us.
But I think you made the right choice with Slobba the Hutt. That was a good one.
Slobba the Hutt, exactly. Yeah.
Slobba the Hutt, yeah.
Arjun Sinha is here. Arjun is probably, hopefully you stay off this man's radar. He's probably, if he hates white right-wingers like us, he must really hate Indian right-wingers like you.
Those are super Nazis.
Yeah, those. You can't get more Nazi than an Indian right-winger, right?
Exactly, you know it.
It's like a Canadian right-winger and a Jew right-winger from the Midwest times a billion, right? That's how you do Marxist math. All right, I'm ready. It's 11 minutes and 17 seconds.
All right.
There you go.
Subscription. I see, like that Journeyman Pictures. I like that channel. They have some good documentaries. But
oh man, it just froze again.
And pause at 137.
I think this guy might be, I might have, thin privilege, but he has
all right, so now this
working internet privilege. So I think
he needs to check his privilege, son.
Right, he needs to back off.
But
all right, I'm playing 11 minutes and 31 seconds.
31? Okay. Just give me 1 second. Okay.
I guess what I was getting around to here is sometimes when you start chasing these and they have like subscriptions and recently watched videos, you kind of start to see these networks. And what is scary to me, like, I don't know, let's try this guy once and see what this is about.
Pause.
Okay, see, like,
it's scary to me. So they subscribe to other channels. I'm surprised he didn't lose his shit once he saw CRTV on there.
Oh yeah. Later he completely loses. He doesn't even know what CRTV is, which is like that's Mark Levin's channel, but he doesn't even notice it. It's like this guy is fucking retarded. Like Conservative Review TV, CRTV. Gavin McInnes is on it. Who's that other guy who's on it?
Steven Crowder's on and Roaming Millennial.
Right, yeah. Steven Crowder and Roaming. I forgot about Roaming Millennial. I haven't heard much about her. I think it was a bad move for her to join.
I kind of fell off when she joined CRTV as well.
Brandon Tatum is on it. The black Nazi, right? Because there's I guess Turning Points USA gets one black Nazi, Candace Owens, and then they couldn't handle another one, so they had to give another one to what's the other one? Conservative Review TV. So, as we all know, like we said, an Indian Nazi is like a Canadian Nazi and a Jewish Midwestern Nazi to the billionth degree. And then times 2, that would be a black Nazi. So that's Marxist math, baby. Okay, so 12 minutes.
Hitler would have loved you.
Yeah. 12 minutes. Ready?
All right.
That's not playing for me.
People be
Here we go.
Subscribe to him.
Is it playing?
And then what's
it is now
about? Obviously, it's. I'm not pretending like it's just super easy to go to the
12:20. I'm just gonna say this is the worst moment in the whole video because you see more of his face again.
Well, I just love that one part. He's like 5.4. Like, who are they subscribe to? What's this shit? What is this though? Athens? What the hell, man? Ancient Greece? That's some real Nazi shit right there.
Yeah, you don't get any more Nazi than Aristotle and friggin' Philip of Macedon and fucking Hydra. Yeah, the Hydra was Greek. He's onto something.
Damn, man. We didn't give him enough credit, I guess, eh? We need to get him on this channel so he can red pill us.
Yeah, maybe he's onto something. I guess I'm finally cued into his Shaolin magic, Tao of the sub sandwich or whatever the fuck he's believing in.
Tao of the sub sandwich. He's the reverse Jared.
Yeah, he's like, it's like double meat, double cheese, and double nachos from the stand next door to the Subway. That's the new Subway diet since Jared went to school. Arjun Sinha says he kind of looks like Jabba the Hutt's less successful cousin, who also does mech. Well, I also said that. I mean, the alternate one was that he was Michael Moore's less successful cousin. So, are you alleging that it could be that Michael Moore, this guy, and Jabba the Hutt, they're all from the same family? That this is some sort of like bastard child of Zorba the Hutt's dad, Jabba the Hutt's dad?
It's that meme right now, that black man meme.
Right. Well, we'll wait for Arjun's answer. It's a nice theory, though. Okay, so play at 12 minutes and 20 seconds. Hold on, the cursor's fucked up. Yeah, go ahead.
These things and put pieces of the puzzle together or make sense of it. Like, it's intentionally nonsensical, right? But I mean, sometimes you do start to put things. I mean, sometimes you can kind of see relationships between this, and what I've noticed before is like sometimes you'll click, and what's concerning to me is I'm seeing a lot of really insane right-wing channels, and it seems like they pop up, they're very manufactured, and I have found funding behind some of them. Like there was that guy, that Thor Halverson guy that Jimmy Dore's done some videos about. He has a company in New York, and Rebecca Mercer is on the board of it, and they have funded a couple YouTube channels.
I got the wheel right now, so do you know anything you stands out with the Mercers? I think he's like obsessed with the Mercers personally.
It really sounds like it, and it's not impossible that someone like if someone like the Mercers, if they have a lot of wealth, and a lot of people have a lot of wealth, buy up a lot of companies or have a lot of positions on other boards for other companies. So it's not impossible that that they would have a Mercer sitting on this board of this person that he's talking about. But the thing is too, is he says, like, right after he says, well, they're funding some YouTube channels, but he hasn't showed any paper trail back to that. So all we have is his word to go on it. And I'm not really trusting his word over, I'm not really going to condemn someone just because he says something like that,
Right. But all I'm saying is that the guy doesn't offer any proof here. And he basically sounds like, he's just going for, I need to talk about these people that really make me feel bad on YouTube. Like he's like basically, this is a perfect metaphor for Derek Zoolander, the guy who can't read, and he wants to build a school for kids who can't read good, and they make a little model, and he's like, no, it doesn't work. How are the kids going to fit into the school if it's how are the kids going to learn how to read if they can't fit into the school? It's the same idea. He has to understand that YouTube is not just for people who, they believe in starving the entire population of China, but they themselves, subsist on pretzels and Hot Pockets.
Yeah, actually, while we're doing the Derek Zoolander thing, the comparison I could see is just, but why male models? Are you serious? I just told you a minute ago.
All right, so I'm back. 13 minutes and 13 seconds. This is really like
13.
I think next time we might have to do this on your channel because my internet's really sucking.
All right, sounds good. We'll do it next time we're doing this, and I hope we can reach to my favorite part before the end of the stream. I'll point it out when we get there. I don't want to give anything away.
Do you know how far along it is?
I think it's not much farther than this.
Yeah, we might not do the whole thing because honestly, he just keeps going in circles. But
yeah, he does. I don't think it's much farther than this.
All right, play.
Completely, but they sent their, these different ones, like 5 or 10 grand or something, right? But what I think is going on is there's like a network.
Damn it! I got the wheel again.
Doesn't like you, does it?
Right. 1 second.
we got a network on the go right now. And it just reminds me, like, maybe he is like Alex Jones. We got these child molesters from the fourth dimension, the second dimension. They're trying to force their way up into the third dimension with us. This, I don't actually believe this. This is just what I'm told that the elites believe in.
I think I'm gonna have to take some of them silver pills to get those gay frogs out my anus.
He's been taking way too much of that super male vitality.
All right, I think let's give it a try. Fuck, it's not even working.
Doesn't like you, man.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about my connection. I think it is because of the streaming
he has a
too.
company in New
Probably,
York.
yeah. It's actually reasons like this is actually one of the reasons I don't haven't really used OBS recently to stream anything. It's just because I've been having a lot of the same problems, whether it's the internet not loading and videos sort of cutting out, or even my own camera sort of cutting out. I was kind of hoping to hold out until I got a better computer, but I don't know if it's the same thing for you.
I think I might have to delete a lot of stuff that I have saved. That might help.
Maybe, yeah.
Right.
Dejunk the computer.
I think we're ready to go. 13 minutes and 16 seconds.
And 16
like
seconds?
5 or 10 grand or something, right?
Okay.
But
good
what
to
I
go.
think is going on is there's like a network of hundreds of these different foundations in different ways where they can all chip in, you know, a couple $1,000 here, there, whatever.
Fuck it. I can't even get it to.
Still being a problem, eh?
Yeah, it's not even like advancing. Let me see. Should I try to like close the stream and then reopen it?
We'll probably lose the stream if you do that. A question, are you watching it on YouTube?
Yeah.
You said you downloaded it, eh?
Yeah, I did download it, in fact.
Maybe you should try opening the downloaded version and you watch it from there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it'll also give him less views instead of. I think I gave him more than half of his views just from this. So.
I think so. One thing that I thought was funny, which I commented on in the Discord, was that he's got 5 comments on this video here, or at least it says 10, but I only see 5 at any one time. But anyway, it says he has 10 comments, yet I see 5, and 3 of the 5 come from him himself.
Right, yeah, and I think he's deleted comments from some of the videos where people just give him like a hard time. And there's only one other guy who comments on his. I don't get a lot of comments on mine either, but you know, I think it's been maybe 2 or 3 times that I've deleted a comment. One of them was because of this idiot that was on that kept talking about fucking horses or something, and then the other guy was just a spammer.
Oh yeah, that makes sense for that sort of thing. Yeah, I've had a spammer on before on my channel, but they actually usually leave some good comments while they're spamming, so I kind of allow it. Like I've had 10 comments on one video from the same spammer, but it was like at least they're saying some stuff relevant. They're not just spamming random crap on my channel. So I was like, all right, you know, I'm not gonna shut them down just for that.
Yeah, I think we're ready to go. 13 minutes and 23 seconds.
Just give me 1 second. Okay, good.
A network of hundreds of these different foundations in different ways where they can all chip in, you know, a couple $1,000 here, there, whatever, to help push these channels, right? And there might even be under the table funding or whatever. And then when you think about the possibility that not only could it be like the
pause, 13 minutes and 43 seconds. He's used to reaching under the table to get that last Brussels sprout that fell on the floor and eating it. You know, gotta get that dust sprout.
Brussels sprout? Do you think he ever eats something that healthy?
I mean, who knows? Maybe his like you know, his slave helper, like that's what he feeds him, and you know, it falls out of that guy's plate, and he eats it. You know, because he has some sort of like golem that helps him.
If he's anything like Jared from Subway, we can definitely guess the age of his slave that is with him.
Ew, that's disgusting, man. Let's keep going. Ew.
All right.
This is all speculation.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. No. All right, play. 1343.
Mercer's shoving money at this. but it could be, I mean, the John Birch Society, and like I say, it could be people with other interests like Al Qaeda, or I'll say Russia. I mean, I think the Russia thing is overhyped. I think it's a misdirection. But yes, any like hostile country to the U.S. would have some interest in just like spreading this disgusting virus of racism on America. Like, it's, to me, it's a serious like thing. And I know like a lot of people, probably even people that create videos on YouTube, probably think, well, the comment sections are a joke, nobody takes that seriously. But it is a legitimate tool, and I think that the racists know this. And I think that also what is scary to realize is that, like, from YouTube's perspective as a company, even if they have some awareness that this is going on, which what I've always been amazed at by YouTube is they don't seem to have any awareness of their content creators or their audience. I think, they've decided a long time, like, their goal is their advertisers, right? So if they like just don't give a shit,
so I'm gonna pause it at 15:08.
Okay.
This guy is literally fucking retarded. If you listen to any YouTube creator, like any major YouTube creator from the past 2 years, they're all talking about the adpocalypse, that their ads are getting deleted, or they're being what do you call it?
Demonetized?
Demonetized. Yeah, that's a word. All of them are talking about it. Even people who at one point thought that they were protected, like Jimmy Dore, are now getting demonetized. And there's of course the most famous people. I mean, I think PewDiePie's been demonetized a couple times, but there's who's that creator that gets demonetized all the time now? Tim Pool. You have Dave Rubin, who we mentioned before, is getting demonetized all the time. Steven Crowder's getting demonetized all the time. They're all getting demonetized. So what the hell is he? He's talking about needing YouTube needing these people to get ads. Once you get demonetized, ads don't run on your channel or on the video that they've selected. So there are certain video makers like Styx Hexenhammer, who he mentions later, that ahead of time they decide, well, we're not going to take ad money anyway. Fuck it. I don't believe in taking ad money, which I always thought was a little odd for Styx Hexenhammer, but he can do whatever the hell he wants. I think he knows what he's doing, because obviously he's come pretty far.
And actually, YouTube has also proven that they don't seem to care whether it's on the left or right spectrum. Because as you stated, like Jimmy Dore or somebody like that, even someone like David Pakman has also talked about for a long time about how his videos are getting demonetized by YouTube. So it doesn't really seem to matter what political spectrum you're coming from. Although, I'm a little hard pressed to call David Pakman news, but whatever. It's my personal opinion on it.
Yeah, the fact that they would demonetize David Pakman is really, it shows how off the deep end this whole censorship movement has gone. And they're taking down channels. Bunty King, I think was he taken down, or was that just on Twitter?
I'm not sure, actually. I never really paid attention to Bunty King.
Anyway, let's keep going. 15 minutes and 8 seconds. Let me know when you get to that moment that he really jumps the shark.
One of the channels that he shows, and I'll
bring it up. I know what you mean. Okay, let's keep going. I think it's pretty soon.
For their perspective, it's just going to be racking up views on videos and clicks and things, where they can go to their advertisers and just say, look, you got all these clicks, you got all this stuff. So for them, they actually have a financial motive to not address this, to not want to fix the trolls. They couldn't love it anymore if somebody creates 10,000 fake accounts to spread racism, because that's just going to mean a bunch of clicks and views that they can sell, right? So anyway, I don't know, back to this or whatever, but like I say, that's just one example of, and they kind of would come in groups here or whatever, but I'm trying to find, some other examples. Okay, this guy, Scotty Good. It's impossible for a black man to be racist. Impossible, I tell you. D.L. Hughley told me so. which that has nothing to do with anything Hughley said. This guy's just being an instigator, or what am I trying to say? Inciting, or I don't know. So, let's take a look at this guy's channel.
Pause at 16 minutes and 29 seconds.
I'm hoping that I can kind of, I guess, by...
Okay.
Hold on. Yeah, this is the most honest part of the video where he says he does not know something. So, this guy, like, he's just presupposing people's intentions. No, D.L. Hughley is one of the most race-baiting... I remember him growing up. He had a show that was reasonably good. And, since then, it kind of... He got overshadowed by Cedric the Entertainer and... who's the other guy? Steve Harvey. Do you remember that? What do they call it? The original Kings of Comedy tour, Adrian? Or was that a little before your time?
I think it was a little before my time, but I do know who you're talking about. I've heard them referenced and I've seen them before from old videos and stuff. So I do know who you're talking about.
Right. Back in the day, D.L. Hughley, we used to be about comedy. Steve Harvey, I think, is still pretty much a pretty good comedian. Then there was Bernie Mac, who's been dead a few years. God rest his soul. I think he was the funniest guy in that group. And then there was Cedric the Entertainer, who's also pretty funny. I don't believe that he's really that political of a comedian. Although he did have that role in Barbershop where he kind of claimed that black people can't. They wouldn't know what to do with reparations or something. So in any case. This person, he doesn't know the truth about D.L. Hughley anyway, or he's not letting it on. But the fact of the matter is that D.L. Hughley, whatever he does right now, is all about race. He has that radio show that almost nobody listens to anymore, or if they listen to it, it's only in the black community. So he's basically preaching to the choir whenever he's talking. So imagine, Adrian, that you put together a channel that is only for Canadian white people. What do you think this guy would call you? He'd call you a Canadian Nazi or something. But which he probably will anyway tomorrow. Thanks. You're welcome. I got you on his shit list now. But
somehow I think I'll survive.
Right. I guess we're all going to be called Nazis now, even though my family survived the Nazis. One of them survived in a Soviet prison camp, by the way. And, technically it was military service, but it was as a logger. So, and then you, of course, are not German, being that Lloyd is a Welsh name. So I don't know where the evidence is, but maybe we're both related to the Mercers in some way. I won't reveal that to the guy because I bet a big investigation will come on as to whether me and Adrian are related to the Mercers.
Hey, you know what? If I was related to the Mercers, I'd be living much better than this shitty apartment that I'm in right now. So I'd almost take that right now. I'd almost like to be related to the Mercers right now.
Yeah, man, I would buy
my bills would be paid off.
I would buy like 2 dirty bookshelves and I'd live it up. So
exactly. I think just just seriously from the state of our where we're living should say that we're not related at all. But you never know.
Yeah, this could all be just like a mock-up set. We could be in the same room. Hey, give me 5.
What's going on?
Yeah. All right.
I'm hoping that I can kind of, I guess, by clicking on these different channels or something, show you what I think is kind of a warning flag or what you might be able to gather some information from. And yeah, this is more like it. Like, okay, this guy only has 50, but look at this. He's subscribed to Hardcore Christianity. What's this? Random rants. And see, this is like the stuff I look for. All these dudes that
okay.
Oh no, he subscribed to Hardcore Christianity. What a Nazi. But I love it. It's more like, this is more what I'm looking for. He's got subscriptions and liked videos. That's how you know right there.
Yeah, Andy.
That's how you pick them out.
And get this, he believes in a God. What a Nazi.
I know, right?
Yeah. All right. Let's keep going. You got anything else?
Nope. But I do. Where my favorite part is coming right up.
Yeah, it is. It takes a minute, but after after that part, I think we're going to be done because I mean,
Sounds
it's
good.
just, all right.
Coming up that are getting close to 30,000 views, right? Like, and to me, that is, I mean, see if I can try to explain this a little bit. I guess what I'm basically saying is like the left is getting killed, like the right and like the really creepy right is building this.
Hello,
huge
welcome
machine.
to Random Rants Ryan. I'm Ryan. Who are you? This is my channel. This is my studio. Isn't it beautiful? This is where the magic happens. Quite low budget. Anyhow, Random Rants Ryan. I talk about random stuff, mostly politics, mostly monetary policy. I'm actually very serious about politics and economics, but I'm not a very serious person in life, so I try to keep it lighthearted and
Okay, now that seems fairly benign, but here he's talking about a pedophile being busted. Here he's saying something about, he's happy about the, okay. Oh, now he's got something to say about Ocasio-Cortez. So you can see this guy is just putting out the exact same tripe that, right-wing stuff. He's talking about how Ocasio-Cortez is, he's trying to smear her. He's talking about how great it would be to get more right-wing people on the Supreme Court. Here he's making a little shot at John Podesta. So he's just basically a Republican dude, right? But that's not horrible. Let's see what this Doug Hamp guy is about.
So I want to pause it before we go to the real money.
That's not too horrible.
Right, 18 minutes and 50 seconds. Oh, you have to be a Republican to hate John Podesta. Yeah, John Podesta is a sleazy son of a bitch. So you ought to eat your own words, you communist bastard. How is a Bernie person who I don't know if this guy still believes in Bernie, but John Podesta is wholly responsible for a lot of, well, he's not wholly responsible, but he's very much a part of what happened with WikiLeaks. He's the reason that we know that Bernie was cheated, because it was his account that was hacked. I mean, it's not because of. I think it was basically he was the person with the most exposure during that whole WikiLeaks dump in the fall of 2016. So it's not a Republican thing to suspect John Podesta in terms of all sorts of different things. Now the whole pedophilia thing was a bit of a bit off the beaten path, I would say. But given his allegations of trolls being run from Saudi Arabia here, he has less evidence than the Pizzagate people. This moron. All right.
Well, we do know John Podesta likes hot dogs.
Right, yeah. Just like this guy. So maybe he works for John Podesta.
And I mean, I will say at least that there was definitely some creepy sort of terminology that was being used. And there you can link it back to being that's the sort of code words that are used by pedophiles, but it's not enough alone just to accuse the guy of pedophilia because of that. But I'm sure if we dug a little deeper, we may find some more evidence, or at least that's just my own belief. I think he has some creepy sort of behind the scenes stuff on the go. But really between them all, I think the most obvious one definitely has to be Joe Biden. We just
Joe
saw
Biden living this in plain view. Yeah.
He was creepy as hell. Man. All right, that's all I wanted to put.
Okay, play.
Okay,
yeah,
so
this is funny.
Some serious religious stuff, but he's actually live right now, so let's see what this is about.
He's decently for a time, and so we are already operating on many of these principles. But let's now take a look at.
Oops, come on.
This is in Genesis chapter 4. Genesis chapter 4. And Adam knew his wife, Eve, and she conceived and bore Cain, and said, I've acquired a man from the Lord. Then she
I don't
bore
really want to
again,
watch a
this
sermon
time
for
his
very
brother
long,
Abel.
but I was just going to kind of
Abel
try to
was
get.
a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground.
Pause.
I was just trying to get an idea if he is like.
Yeah.
And that was my favorite part. He's going through all these accounts that are like Nazis and far right, and
he reaches some sort of. Can you still hear me?
he's like, that's how you Nazi.
I think did we get disconnected, Adrian? Adrian? I think Adrian might have to call back in. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, there was some sort of interruption. Yeah, keep going.
I was just saying that's the funniest part for me. That was the part I loved. He's like going through all the accounts, which are clearly supposed to be Nazi. Account comes up to the priest who's talking about Genesis. It's like, you see that? He's discussing Genesis. That's how you know he's a Nazi.
Well, this appears to be, in my opinion, a Seventh-day Adventist or some sort of, one of these Christian sects that emulates Judaism. He wearing the tallis, the Jewish prayer shawl on his shoulder, which, I personally don't think that, I kind of find it kind of weird that there are denominations like this. Not that I'm telling people what to do. I'm not telling people what to do, but I find it a little weird. But, this has nothing to do with Nazism. It's just some dude who might be, some sort of Seventh-day Adventist or a similar type of congregation. And there are congregations like this that, they're all into, for some reason, a more originalist interpretation of the Old Testament, along with the New Testament, as opposed to, Catholicism, which depends on, the Latin translation of the Bible, or Christian Orthodoxy or whatever. Yeah, I mean, you get the point that it's more of a type of Christian sect that, it predates. It has nothing to do with Nazism. That's what I'm trying to say.
Is everything to do with getting out of work early on a Friday. That's what the Seventh-day Adventists are about.
Right, and I don't even know if they followed that. I'm not. I mean, maybe you know more than I do, but I mean, I remember my dad used to have a tenant that was a Seventh-day Adventist, and her family, they did keep the seventh day, but I don't know if they kept all of the laws of it. So, it's anyone's guess.
At my old job, we had 2 or 3 Seventh-day Adventists, and they always would leave before the sundown on the Friday, which I guess was the beginning of the Sabbath. But yeah, that's why I kind of made that joke about leaving early on Friday.
Oh yeah. There you go. That's the same thing. I mean, we do the same thing. It's the same idea. So this guy doesn't have an understanding of what the difference between and is YouTube a Nazi paradise? What does this have to do with Nazis? It's like. Okay, so
I bet you he watched that. He read that story from the New Yorker the other day about that Marine who lost both his legs in in Iraq or something with the tattoo, and he believed it. It's like, see, that's a Nazi right there. He lost both his legs, and he's got an Iron Cross tattoo right there.
Well, yeah, ironically, that's the story that generated the whole one of the Milo Yiannopoulos things, where he tweeted or he sent a message. No, he sent a donation of $14.88 to that journalist.
Oh, yeah.
She happened to be Jewish, but she also smeared this guy as a Nazi, and it was totally untrue. So he was taking an unfortunate incident where this woman screwed up royally and had to resign, deservedly so, for smearing a person, an ICE agent who was a double amputee, as a Nazi. And, he was using it in order to provoke her. But, it was obviously a provocation based on her mistake. It had nothing to do with him being a Nazi or not being a Nazi.
I mean, it was more unacceptable the way it was to begin with, but it made it even worse considering she was supposed to be a fact checker for the New Yorker, Like, you should be able to do your job just a little bit better than that. I mean, the Iron Cross itself, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was used before the Nazis came to power. I think you could trace it back even to before World War I. They were using the Iron Cross, and I'm pretty sure they use it even to today. So yeah, it's not really necessarily a Nazi symbol in and of itself.
It was used by the Prussian military, like before Germany was united, and then after the war. After World War II, it was also used eventually by the new West German army. And it's used. I used to work with somebody who was in the German Air Force, still is in the German Air Force, a reserve guy, and they still use it. So the woman was basically talking out of her ass, and it wasn't even the Iron Cross; it was the Navy Cross. I think it's the Navy Cross, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I mean, I think we have Larry Gerke tunes into the show, he's been in the Navy, so he might be able to tell. Or if I don't know if there might be some other Navy people in there or Marines in the chat. So if somebody wants to, the Maltese cross dates back 6,000 years at least. That's what Jeffrey Allen Johnson says. But this is not exactly the Maltese cross, and it's not the Iron Cross. It's kind of a variant used in the Navy, from what I understood. But it doesn't even matter, because the whole thing was a concocted lie. The guy was not a Nazi. It had nothing to do with Nazism. He's a former Marine. And it has to do with Marine and Navy culture. You know, Marines are part of the Navy technically, and they get, I think they're able to be awarded the Navy Service Cross. All right, you ready to go? I think we'll do like another minute or two or something.
Sounds good.
All right.
Just a regular Christian conservative, or if he's like a serious, like, anti-gay, anti-abortion, whatever, real political dude or whatever. Rethinking prayer, what quantum physics or what, so he's one of these dudes that's doing this stupid science supports religion bullshit. Shabbat plus the Way congregation. So I'm guessing that's some Zionism, if it's like a Christian that is talking about Shabbat. And
all right, freeze it at 20 minutes and 30 seconds. This guy he finally said it. So he said that Shabbat, which he can't even pronounce, is a Zionist thing. It's not. Shabbat is the Sabbath in the Bible. All Jewish scripture relates to it. So you can't call it Zionism. It's the which commandment is it? oh shit. I forgot which commandment. I think it's the fourth commandment. Could be wrong. Third commandment. It's the third commandment. Let's look it up just to be sure. I'm looking pretty ignorant right now. But
ignorant of your own religion, dude.
Yeah, man, jeez. I'm just like some sort of like bore. So 10 commandments.
You need some of that burning bush that Moses was smoking.
You're dragging me into like uncharted territory, man. So the 10 commandments. Take it back. Hold on. I believe it is the third commandment, though. Remember the Sabbath day. So this is, I believe it is the third commandment. Because the first two relate to idolatry and taking the Lord's name in vain. So that's
Jesus Christ.
Done it. So I am religious. I happen to be. So I mean, that's on Adrian. That's not me. But
believe me, if there is a God and you're going to judge me at the end of my life, there's going to be much worse things than taking the Lord's name in vain. First, he'd be like, okay, so first problem, you never believed in me, man.
You think he might make you like this guy's roommate?
Oh shit, I never thought about that.
You might want to repent.
Repent now before it's too late.
What's DMT mean?
DMT, I think it's a type of drug actually, which a lot of people have theorized that's what the whole burning bush is representing with Moses. It was actually DMT.
Well, I don't believe in any of those theories, but go ahead, because since we're dealing with outrageous theories right now with this guy, I guess anything can be entertained. But yeah, he just keeps going with this nonsense.
The Torah in Israel.
What I thought was funny too was like he's like desperately looking through the priest channel trying to find anything that he can swing as Nazism, and he just has like a 5 to 7 second quiet period. He's like, shit, what do I choose? There, Shabbat. That's what we're going to focus on.
Right. It has nothing to do with anything political anyway. It's like this guy is obviously some sort of religious Christian of some sect. I mean, who's to guess? So, let me see if he says anything more important. We're gonna quit soon because how much more of this can I take? Honestly.
Probably not too much more, and it's
So, yeah, this is
mostly
kinda
just the
reaching
same
the
stuff to
vine
the
as
end.
well.
You know, he's going from one channel to the other, like, you see, here is the Nazi coordination on YouTube,
Oh, he does.
more or less. I mean, I didn't get it quite to the end, but
Which,
it's
I
more
mean,
or
I don't
less
even
what
know
he
what to
just
say
kept
about
doing.
that. Like, to me, that is extreme. But obviously, what I'm actually compared to, like, here's the stuff.
I must say though, this guy did
really
make for
worry
an
about. This
interesting
is
hour and a
American
half, though.
Renaissance, you know, and somehow this.
It was
YouTube
probably a
channel
good
is
thing that he
6 years
decided not to
present.
come on your channel to debate you, because he probably would have gotten blown out of the fucking water.
Well, the whole time he's like, first of all, I mean, yes, I think he would have, because he was trying to say that Nicaragua is basically, it's only rebelling because of American inner like what do you call it, intervention in Nicaragua and the Contras and whatever, because of what happened in the 80s is obviously the same thing that's happening right now. Again, based on zero proof, based on his supposition that this is what's happening now because that's what happened then. Well, you need proof of that. Loafer Wolf says, make sure, Jeffrey Allen Johnson, you delete your bullshit comments. What? I think he goes to Our Lady of the Morbidly Obese. Yep, that could be true. Metadata Man says that. So he goes into not Richard Spencer, but Jared Taylor. And by the way,
Yeah.
if he wants to complain that Jared Taylor is on YouTube, then he should shut the fuck up, because Twitter kicked Jared Taylor off, and Jared Taylor sued them, and they lost in court. So what does he want? Does he want YouTube to kick Jared Taylor off so they can get sued as well? Because that's what's going to happen. Did you hear about that, by the way?
No, I didn't. I knew that Jared Taylor got kicked off, but I didn't know he sued them and won.
Yeah, they kicked him off Twitter, and I'm not going to say that Jared Taylor. I think Jared Taylor, if you want to talk about people who the left should fear, he definitely is somebody who, he breaks all the stereotypes about the far right, because he really is somebody who does have a scholarly background. He's a Japanese educated, Yale. Well, yeah, I think he's a Yale. What's it called? A Yale doctor. In all sorts of different fields. He teaches in French. Okay, so I wouldn't say that I agree with his viewpoint on the world. I don't believe in a racially segregated society. I think that I kind of believe in a free market for everybody, where anybody can live according to their own desires. And obviously, if they form an ethno state, I wouldn't be a part of it. I wouldn't take part in it. I don't know if you would ever be interested in doing it, but me personally, I think it seems like these people don't know what the hell they're talking about, except for him. So once he dies, they would be fucked.
Well, the other thing about Jared Taylor, too, is I would actually say, when discussing the alt-right sort of thing, he's actually one of the much more respectable people, where he mostly is just focusing on what he sees as discrimination against white people, or at least the disadvantages that are facing white people. But he doesn't really go into this whole anti-Jewish thing, at least not from what I've seen, and he's definitely a lot more respectable when talking to other people about his points of view than a lot of the other people that they bring up, whether that be David Duke or any of those sort of people.
Yeah, there have been a lot of he doesn't consider himself a white supremacist. He considers himself a white nationalist. And in many cases, I think in the past several months, he's been denounced by Paul Nealon and that other guy, Richard Little. Was his name Richard Little or
Patrick Little?
Patrick Little, that's his name. So Patrick Little, they've all denounced him as, they've called him a Jew. So, he's never been openly, to my knowledge, he's never been openly anti-Semitic. He's always said, with all due respect to the Jews, I want a country for my people, and you guys can have a country for your people, and we'll be fine, and I'll never attack you. And he could be a liar, but you can't attack somebody based on things that they haven't said that you think that they believe. That's the way that the world works. So
unless we're discussing this guy,
right? This guy, like everything's on the table. Saudi Arabia,
subscribers, and you can see they've got videos here that are getting like 15,000
Human Danny Knapp or Knapp.
views.
Probably
Yeah.
case silence of Danny Knapp, my guess. Or Danny the Trucker, as he has as a slogan underneath his video.
Yeah,
Definitely believe it. Looking at him, he's definitely a trucker.
And the death of conservatism, like, you know, it's just pushing to the far right. But this American Renaissance.
Did you freeze on me?
How to
No, I'm
racial
watching it.
separation.
I
mean, they are.
I'm at 2142.
2142. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, good.
Nazis. Here's Richard Spencer, you know. So this is the really sick stuff. And
Welcome to the American Renaissance YouTube channel.
oh, that's what I was looking for here. I was going to come back here.
Welcome to
So here, you know, related, Black Pigeon Speaks. That guy's pretty extreme. You know, like this Sticks and Hammer and Stephen Molyneux, they are like tools to move people to the right. You know, they're not that extreme. But, you know, this is where you get when you go down that lane. Or, you know, can. And now this is interesting. This guy is talking about China, America,
Pause.
the Chinese.
What I just find so funny about that too is the fact that more and more these days it's actually coming from when I hear about people wanting resegregation, it's very less I find coming from the white community. I hear it a lot more coming from actually the black community, the biggest one, where they're talking about wanting resegregation, and a lot of it's been happening inside of the colleges, you know, when we're talking about classrooms or maybe dorms or things like that. But I find that a little funny that he's pointing that out, that particular video about resegregation, when there's so many other groups that are actually calling for it than anything else.
Yeah, that's something I see more and more often, because it's actually socially acceptable to be a black separatist. And, you know, I actually don't care if people are black or white separatists or whatever, because I don't think that those, eventually you realize that the more you try to work with people that are within your own circle of I don't know, origin or ethnicity, the more you're dependent on people that can't help you. So, you know, I see people all the time that they don't want to deal with people who are of other races, and it's just like, you know, if you want to get screwed by the one mechanic in your community that's you know, not Mexican or whatever. I mean, we have this Russian mechanic here that I'm not particularly fond of, but he does an amazing job. So I go to him. I wouldn't say that. I'd say he does an amazing job, but, you know, he's kind of a dick to me. So, but that's the price of living in a world where you deal with people that are unpleasant. So, I mean, this guy is complaining about American Renaissance. Would it be so fortunate that all the white supremacists were like this guy, Jared Taylor? Because most of them are like, you know, like that Chris Cantwell lunatic, you know, and then he wants to associate people like me or you with them. I mean, I don't believe in race as really an element of what I believe in the economy. Okay, people want to believe that capitalism is what causes this difference between the races and everything, but in reality, that's more of like an element of people being attracted or giving loyalty to people that are like their own. What do you want me to do about that? That has nothing to do with capitalism. That has more to do with human psychology. And capitalism and human psychology are interrelated, but it's not like everything that has to do with human psychology is a result of capitalism. I mean, do you think that what do you call it, Oedipus complex has to do with capitalism?
I mean, there's plenty of criticisms. There's plenty of criticisms toward capitalism that are fair and valid that he could go to, but instead he's going for these bullshit reasons behind them, trying to blame the whole race situation on capitalism.
No, but I mean, I don't know if he specifically goes between capitalism and white supremacy in this video, but he makes that leap between those completely unrelated channels. You know, those people that, and it wasn't even the channel itself. Somebody watched that channel of the Seventh Day Adventist or whatever religion that was, and then he says, "Well, those people, they're not really exactly what I was looking for. But this Jared Taylor is what I'm looking for. What does that have to do with anything? None of the individuals that were specifically in those comments had American Renaissance listed among their liked videos. So this is the very definition of a straw man argument. Okay, this is you saying that, well, I didn't see anybody who fit the exact description of what I wanted, but we're going to move to what I wanted anyway, even though it's irrelevant to the point. And it's a CNN video. Everybody's shitposting on a CNN video.
That's actually something I meant to bring up in the beginning and forgot, was the fact that this is CNN. Of course, people are going to make fun of it, and they have plenty of good reasons to make fun of it for a lot of the crap they pulled in the past. I mean, even before CNN was getting called out by Donald Trump and his supporters, we had things like I guess we kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, with the missing Malaysian flight, where they spent their entire coverage for like a month focusing on the plane that had gone missing, and it went into as such ridiculousness as talking about black holes. You know, they're just a sensationalist news source, so of course people are going to be on there making fun of them. In a lot of ways, it's kind of like TYT that these days, where you watch it for the entertainment value, not because you actually are watching them for their opinion.
All right, you want to keep going, or you think we had enough today?
I think we've covered just about everything we can on this guy.
All right, so for those of you that want to watch the whole stream, there is 10 more minutes left of this. You know, I hope that you watch the rest of the stream. And, you know, I mean, the stream is, the video link is available, and you may do as you please. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, any other news today? I know it was Dominion Day in Canada. How'd you spend your day, Adrian?
I took a pretty relaxed day today, actually. My wife and I saw a couple friends. We hung out with them for a little bit, chilled with their dog. And then it's actually something you won't usually hear from Canadian. It was actually unbelievably warm here today. There was actually a heat warning, so we tried to stay indoors as much as possible. And then right around 10 o'clock, we went out on our balcony to watch the fireworks that were going on downtown, because that's the one advantage about living on the 7th floor of an apartment, is the fact that you can see over the rest of the building. So we didn't have to go downtown or even go anywhere close in order to see them. So, and actually the other benefit of it is a lot of people, there's a few parks surrounding our place, so people were shooting up fireworks there. So it was a nice, relaxing day. Good day, though.
Yeah, I kind of I had a fast day. It was a religious holiday, you know, because some people believe in religions, unlike, you know, Slobba the Hutt here, you know, who doesn't even know the first thing about it. He thinks that if you're a religious person, you must be some sort of like Zionist, Saudi, Russian troll or something. So other than that, we're not going to do any other streams tonight because it is a bit late and I didn't eat anything for dinner or anything, but I will say that LeBron James left today for the LA Lakers. I guess, you know, good for him chasing that money, because that's what, as a normal human being, you do. And if this person, Slobba the Hutt, wants to complain about somebody pursuing any, you know, all the money, I mean, he can, you know, invoke his fat, ugly Buffalo head privilege against LeBron James, because LeBron James, you know, he has 3 championships. This person, to all appearances, I've never seen him on any championship roster, so 0 championships. I think LeBron James has, what is it, 9 championship appearances, whereas this person has 0. 14 NBA All-Star Game appearances. Again, 0 for this person. A lot of privilege on LeBron James' side. And this person, you know, unfortunately, what would it be that he were so fortunate to have the talent to actually accomplish something? But instead, he wants to go and hound other people who watch other YouTube channels. I mean, he might as well go after LeBron James, Mr. New LA Laker. You know, I fucking hate the Lakers, by the way. I hope he does go after LeBron James. But, you know, I wish LeBron James luck, as much as I disagree with his opinions. I think he's a fantastic basketball player. Nowhere near one Michael Jordan or a certain Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas is a great star on bookshelves across the country. So, any last words, Adrian? By the way, his channel is Just My Stupid Opinion if you don't know already. He's a frequent guest and good colleague of mine.
I just want to say thank you for inviting me on. This was a good laugh, and this definitely made the rest of my day for sure. Listening to this guy, I wasn't sure what I was getting myself into when you sent me the video. Granted, I mean the title should say it all, but yeah, no, listening to it and then getting to comment on it was probably one of the highlights of my day. It was awesome. Thank you for bringing me on.
Do you feel more patriotic and nationalistic for doing this?
I think I did my civic duty of the day.
All right, well, that's it. I hope you guys like the video, share the video, comment on the video, and click on the link below for the original stream. I think you'll find it just as entertaining as we did. And please leave your opinion as well, civilly. All right.
Leave your stupid opinion below.
Exactly. Good night, everybody.
All right. Have a good one, Bold.
Bye-bye.